Okay. Alright. So far, what have you learned about stats? Apa test yang dah dipelajari? Apart from ANOVA, today is about ANOVA, right? So far dah belajar test apa dah?
T-test.
T-test dah. Ya baru. Okay. Semua dah ada SPSS ke?
Some ada, some tak ada, Doktor.
Alright, I already sent the SPSS file for today's lecture for practical to Bilal. So those yang ada SPSS, you can use that file lah for practical session today. But for those yang tak ada SPSS lagi, it's okay. You can is recorded. You can practice to use ANOVA test later lah. Okay, today's lecture is very short, it's very simple. And then I'll already brief all of you some statistical tests that need to be used, masa research method dari itu. And then and the reason or justification on choosing that kind of test. So for today, okay, you will learn about the ANOVA. So ANOVA is basically the short form for analysis of variance. Apart from ANOVA, we have some other types of analysis of variance, or basically covariance. We have ANCOVA, analysis of covariance. We have MANOVA, multiple analysis of variance, or we also have MANCOVA, multiple analysis of covariance. But for undergraduate level, what is more important for you is to know what is ANOVA je lah. Because when I look at your research methodology topic, some of the variables or your objective will actually need to use more advanced statistical tests. Some of it, I think, you need to use ANCOVA and MANOVA, but we try to minimize the possibility of complicating your statistical knowledge so that you will love your stats throughout your life. Like me. Okay, I'll try to take it in a very the simplest way possible. The memory will remain lah, kan? Tak ada nanti lupa balik besok year 4. But so far, once you enter year 4, you will totally forget what SPSS is all about and what type of test that you need to be used. Some right, so or assumption that we need to obey or need to be before we want to select. And then again, yes, tak dengar ke?
Some lagging lah, Doktor.
Oh, ya ke? Sekejap start. Alright, sekarang ni learning outcomes. Sekarang dengar tak?
Dengar,
Hello?
Doktor. Dengar, Doktor.
Okay, so sekarang ni slide dekat learning outcomes ke?
Dekat learning outcome.
Okay, whenever saya first learning, let me know cakap ke apa ke, sebab so ada poor connection di sini juga. Alright. Okay. So I'll just proceed. Okay, for learning outcome, what is ANOVA? And then for any statistical test, what you need to know is when to use, how to use, and also how to report. Okay, the most important part is when to use lah. So whenever you have your objective and your variables, your independent and dependent variables, you need to know when to use. Okay, how to use is actually simple. Sebab how to use ni you can always refer to YouTube ke, tengok how they conduct dia or how they use the software. For today, we will use SPSS. And next, this is very important when you want to write a report. So basically, from the result, from the output, you need to decide, you need to know on how to report your finding. Okay, ni memang common diagram lah for all statistical test. Actually, ni pun ada share di slide juga, kan? So for ANOVA, we will use ANOVA. ANOVA is here. Okay, one way ANOVA. We have two ways ANOVA, MANOVA, MANCOVA. This is one way ANOVA. So kalau one way ANOVA, our independent variable is actually can more than two groups compared to t-test. Kan, kalau two sample t-test we have two group. Kalau more than two group we use ANOVA. And then the dependent variable or outcome is continuous. So if let's say the outcome is continuous and the exposure is categorical more than 2, we use ANOVA. But provided that your distribution of data is normal. So kalau normally we will use parametric test, which is ANOVA. If it is not normally distributed or skewed data, we will use non-parametric test or skewed scholars. Okay, kalau t-test kita pakai main Whitney, kalau ANOVA kita pakai qualities. Right? Okay, so what is ANOVA? Okay, ANOVA is actually a statistical test. Okay, it is analysis of variance. Okay, we want to know is there any difference between variance in the study, in the variables. Okay, it is a statistical test to determine variation among one thing and between group. Group ni mana more than two lah. So among the group itself and between the group itself. Okay, so we have our null hypothesis for ANOVA. All groups will have the same mean. So if it is significant, there will be a significant difference between group means. So they compare the mean. So ANOVA, the independent variable is categorical, usually more than two. Not usually lah. You need to have more than two groups, and the dependent is continuous and normally distributed. But okay, this is the assumption for ANOVA. First, it is your data need to be normally distributed. Second, it is independent and random samples. Okay, tak boleh samples yang tak random. So kalau kita select sendiri, tak boleh. You need to have a random samples whereby a proper sampling was conducted to select the sample. And then population have equal variances. This is what we call relevance test or homogeneity of variance. We don't want our variance to have a homogeneous character. So they need to have equal variance. Okay. Okay, when to use? Okay, similarly, when this is when you come across independent or exposure that is categorical more than two groups and dependent variable that is continuous. So it is similar to t-test, is it? Kan? Tapi t-test ni have two groups, but ANOVA ni more than two groups in the categorical part. So we use ANOVA when we want to check if there is any difference between groups, okay, between A and C, or within the groups, within the A. And then we use normally distributed. If not normally distributed, we use Kruskal-Wallis. Alright, and then how to use? Okay, simple je. Okay, Okay, siapa-siapa yang ada SPSS, you can start to open your data set. Okay, kajian pendapatan antara dua. Okay, so our objective is we want to see if there is a difference for mean BMI among marital status group. Okay, so we hypothesize that there is a significant mean difference within that category. So senang je, buka SPSS. Siapa yang ada SPSS, you can open your SPSS. Dekat tab yang atas ni, you click analyze. Okay. Analyze compare means. Okay, compare means. So kalau t-test, kita akan pergi kat sini kan, independent sample t-test. Ni pet sample t-test, ni one sample t-test. So pergi dekat one way ANOVA. So click one way ANOVA. Alright, so everybody got it? Siapa-siapa yang ada SPSS boleh try buka.
Dapat doktor.
Dapat.
Okay, so bila dah tick one way ANOVA, dia sekejap, sampai kat sini. Okay, so masukkan BMI under dependent list because this is our outcome. And then you select marital status as your factor. Factor ni is our exposure. Okay. Alright, enter BMI into dependent list and marital status into factor. Then you guys go to post-hoc. Okay. Nanti I'll explain what post-hoc is all about. Okay, post-hoc ni, klik post-hoc, then Foroni. So basically kita ada banyak post-hoc test. Again, if you guys remember, one of the assumptions for ANOVA is that we must assume that equal variance, homogeneity. So to test for this part, we need to have a post-hoc test. So this is extra lah. You can choose Turkey, Bonferroni, but commonly used, we use Turkey and Bonferroni. So you can choose Bonferroni level, you just leave it at 0.05 ni by default lah. Okay. Lepas tu tekan continue. Alright, continue. Next, you pergi dekat options. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, pergi dekat options and then tick descriptive. So descriptive ni you want to know about your data lah, kan? And then test check. Tick juga homogeneity of variance test. So they will conduct a homogeneity of variance test and then means plot. Means plot ni tak significant sangat lah. Yang missing value just analysis by analysis. And then continue. Click OK. So dah klik OK, apa yang keluar? Kan bila klik
Dapat deskriptif.
Kita deskriptif je. Kenapa tak dapat yang lain? Masukkan tak yang test-test lain? Deskriptif sama tak total 340? Macam ni.
Sama doktor.
Sama. Okay, so alright. Okay. Alright, so basically dalam one way ANOVA ni kita ada title no descriptive test of homogeneity. So kita pergi dekat DP descriptive part. Okay, this is the descriptive part. We want to know the distribution. Okay, so ada single, 23, widow. So basically check 340. Sometimes when we look at the total, we might come across slightly lower than our population. And then dia akan keluar satu part missing. So maknanya ada problem kan our data. We need to go back to our data and check whether there is some issue or problem with it. Okay, so this is the mean, the standard deviation, and then the 95% confidence interval, the minimum and maximum. This is just the description part. We will use descriptive part to explain in the final report nanti. Alright, next, check the test of homogeneity. Yeah.
Doktor tadi yang doktor cakap pasal part missing tu apa ni macam lagging, macam tak dengar yang kalau ada part missing tu.
Oh, okay. Sometimes, okay. sometimes this is okay, this is a good data. So basically you dapat 340 is equal to your punya population. But sometimes when your total is less than the expected population sample, there might be some missing here. Nanti dia akan keluar lah single, married, widowed, divorced, separated. Bawah ni missing. Lepas tu baru total. So when there is a missing, you detect missing, you need to go back to your data. Nak make sure why there is some missing. You tak masuk data ke ataupun terdelete data ke. I want to know about the data. And then dalam descriptive part ni, you got some idea tau actually. And you see here, okay, single, the mean BMI is 23. Married and widowed is 37. So there may be some between married and widowed. But at this point of time, you are not sure whether the difference is significant or not. Remember my conclusion first, you need to know the value, the direction, and the magnitude, the direction, and also the significant value. At this part, you already know about the direction and also the magnitude. But we are not sure yet about if it is significant or not. So descriptive part gives you some idea only. Next, we go to homogeneity of variances. Okay, we look at the significant part. I mean the p-value. So this for homogeneity, remember for homogeneity, we want our data to have some homogeneous. We want our data to be homogeneous. We don't want to have. We need to be assuming that the variance is similar. One have different invariances. Okay, so that's why whenever p-value indicate there is a difference. If let's say p-value is less than 0.05, okay, this is untuk homogeneity sahaja. If let's say in this part, if let's say p-value, significant is p-value lah. SIG ni significant is p-value. If let's say p-value ni less than 0.05, maknanya significant difference between variances. That your variance is not homogeneous. So you cannot use ANOVA because it so-called assumption that is needed for ANOVA test. So value is more than 0.05, meaning that there is some homogeneity. Memang tak ada significant difference between variances. But don't get confused when you go to ANOVA table. In this table, you want to have a significant value because your hypothesis is that there is a significant difference between group and also within group. Okay, maknanya between single, married and widowed ni kita ada significant difference, meaning that the difference in here is significant. Okay, remember three things that you need to conclude: the magnitude, the direction, and also significant value. From here, we have the magnitude, we have the direction, which one is higher, which one is lower, and now we have the significant value. So cukup tiga information untuk buat conclusion. So in here, in this part, the significant value or p-value is less than 0.05. Meaning that the difference in mean here is significant, is statistically significant. So faham ke tak? Clear? Up until this point, is it clear? Any confusion? ANOVA akan keluar dalam Final Pro lah. Final Pro lah. Dalam Second Pro lah. Korang punya exam. So, sila dengar lecture ni baik-baik. Faham tak? Ke tak dengar ke suara si putus-putus lagi?
Doktor,
Ya. Yeah.
can you repeat again about the test of homogeneity ni?
Okay. Okay, one of the assumption for ANOVA test, okay, first untuk ANOVA we need to make sure that exposure dia ialah categorical, outcome dia is continuous, and exposure categorical is more than 2. Second, you need to have a random sampling. Maknanya kita kena buat a proper sampling method untuk select things randomly. Yang ketiga, assumption for ANOVA is that there will be a homogeneity of variance. Maknanya dia punya variances. Variance ni maknanya the difference between value. Okay, the difference between value tu sama. Dia tak ada not maknanya kita punya sample tu is homogeneous. Okay, the variance is big. Okay. So ANOVA kita kena make sure that our variance is homogeneous. Dia bukan dia punya mean tau. Bukan mean standard deviation dia punya variances. Ataupun dia punya dispersion. Sorry, bukan dispersion. Dia punya variance lah. Variance lah. Is homogeneous, sama. So we conduct a homogeneous test ataupun Lebanese test. Ni kita panggil Lebanese test. In Lebanese test, we want to make sure that our p-value is more than 0.05. When it is more than 0.05, meaning that there is no difference ataupun there is no statistically different. When it is less than 0.5, meaning that there is a significant statistical difference. So in the Lebanese test, or test of homogeneity, the value is more than 0.05, meaning that there is no significant difference and your value is homogeneous. Dia bukan heterogeneous, dia homogeneous. When it is homogeneous, meaning that you fulfill the assumption for ANOVA. So that is the purpose of Lebanese test lah. Itu sahaja, to fulfill the assumption of ANOVA. But for ANOVA test, this system is more important because this reflect your hypothesis and objective. So for ANOVA test, you need to have a significant or not significant value lah, depending on your data. If the significant OP value is less than 0.5, in that your hypothesis is true lah. Alternative hypothesis is true, whereby you say that there is a significant groups. If let's say the significant value is more than 0.05, meaning that there is no significant. So single merit widow ni walaupun there is some difference, but the difference is not significant. If the significant value is more than 0.05 or p value 0.05. But in this case, since the p value or significant value needs less than 0.05, so it's okay, faham?
Doktor.
Yeah.
Sorry, Doktor, but that part of significant value in ANOVA tadi lagging, Doktor. What can you repeat once again, Doktor?
Lagging lagi. Okay.
Sorry, Doktor.
Tak apa. Saya punya tak apa. Sila beritahu sebab memang saya punya internet tengah tak stabil. So basically, for ANOVA table, okay, we need to look at the significant value here. Okay. If let's say the value is less than 0.05, meaning that the difference is significant. So the difference between single merit and widowed punya mean BMI ni, you see there is a difference, right? But we are not sure whether the difference is significant or not. So that's why we conduct ANOVA. So when we conduct ANOVA, we found that the p-value or significant value is less than 0.05. When it is less than 0.05, meaning that the difference in here is significant. Faham?
Faham, Doktor.
Okay, alright. Okay, next we go to post-hoc test. Okay, kita slide balik. Okay, first, compare the means and standard deviation of all groups. Okay, so they show that apparently single has lower BMI mean than married or widowed. So single 23, 27. So ini descriptive part yang macam saya cerita tadi. Okay, ni test of homogeneity. Look at the significant kan. If P is not significant, then equal variances is assumed. Okay. So P ni tak significant kan? Why it is not significant? Because it is more than 0.05. So we can assume equal variances lah. So fulfill lah assumption for ANOVA. Okay, this is ANOVA table. Okay, so tunjuklah the F value here is, kalau zaman dulu, we will use buku sifir 4 angka. I'm not sure. I rasa zaman korang tak pernah tengok buku sifir 4 angka. Pernah tengok tak buku sifir 4 angka? Tak pernah. Okay. So dulu-dulu masa PMR kita orang akan pakai buku sifir 4 angka lah. So buku sifir 4 angka ni basically statistik punya buku. Bila manual, kira-kira manual nanti bila lepas ada formula dia, kira-kira manual dapatlah F value ni 3.763. Nanti dia pada F value 3.763 ni, kalau kita kat buku sifir 4 angka, dia ada dia table dia 3.3 dalam kumpulan P value berapa. So the F value kat sini 3.763 dapat dalam P value dia 0.024. So 0.024 less than 0.05. Therefore, the observed difference is significant. Yang kita observe difference between group tadi tu is significant lah. And kita reject null. And then we can conclude that there is association between marital and also BMI because faham?
Faham, doktor.
Okay, so dah clear. Tapi beza ANOVA dengan t-test ni, t-test you only have 2 groups. So when you compare, because one is higher than another. But the problem with ANOVA, we have 3 groups. So how to settle or solve this problem? Let's have post hoc test. This is for multiple comparison. So post hoc in this case, kita pakai Bonferroni test. Okay, what is the function of post hoc test? Post hoc test will show you where the actual significant difference lies. So this one, okay, our post hoc test dalam SPSS output, this table bawah sekali. Okay, multiple comparison. Alright. Okay, so we use Bonferroni. So Bonferroni is which group? Okay, kan the purpose of ANOVA tadi nak to determine the difference within group and also between group. Okay, so from this table above, multiple comparison, kita tengok single dengan married and widow. So bila tengok single dengan married dengan widow, both of it significant, which is less than 0.05. Okay, betul. Then kita tengok kat married. Married ni dengan single ada significant difference. Tapi dengan widow, there is no significant difference. It is expected lah, kan? Sebab dia punya value tadi is 2.37, yang married pun 37. So memang daripada mata kasar ni pun there is no different compared to single. Kan? Betul tak?
Betul.
Betul tak? Betul tak? Okay. Dia akan ada significant difference dengan single, tapi dengan married akan jadi sama. Married dengan widow ni tak adalah beza sangat. The single ni contribute kepada kita punya different. So from the table above, the significant difference is between married single, which is this one, then this one and this one, and also widow versus single, it is this one and this one. So antara dua yang kita have ni, what Okay. So again, relationship between matrix ni how do you write a table so ada group, ada min SD, ada F value, ada P value. Okay. So berapa ni post shows. Okay. Basically, in order to report, again, you need to have three things. Okay. First, the magnitude. Second is the direction, and third is the significant value. Nak senang, dia punya magnitude is the mean value. So, nak conclude kita cakap, in this study, merit have 27. The mean SD BMI for merit is 27.1. Widot 37.7, merit 37.1, and single is the error. Widot has the highest mean BMI, followed by merit and single. And the difference between these three groups were statistically significant of 0.024. When we conduct a Bonferroni post-hoc test, we found that the significant difference between merit and single with a p-value of 0.026. So you conclude the three things, magnitude, direction, and significant value for this part, you need to continue with the Bonferroni post-hoc test to show which groups are actually significant. Okay, clear? Faham? The difference between ANOVA and p-test is that we have a post-hoc test to determine which group are actually significantly different lah from each other. Boleh?
Doktor.
Faham? Tak clear? Tak jelas? Yeah.
Doctor, can I ask Doctor? Once again, what is the F value just now?
Oh, F value ni is the F value ni is the ANOVA value. Is the basically the value kalau kita buat calculation for ANOVA lah. I show you something lah. ANOVA punya calculation. Okay, nanti boleh baca yang ni background on the F-test ni. Ni basically cara dia buat calculation, come out with the formula bla 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 bla. Okay, F is MS model divided by MS residual bla 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 apa semua. Okay, this is a probability model lah. Okay, so nanti bila ada formula ni, you guys will masukkan formula, masukkan data macam buat admit dulu. Lepas tu nanti dapat F value. So once dapat F value tu nanti, okay, tengok buku si tempat tu So korang tak sempat lah guna benda ni. Slow lah internet. Lah terbalik pula. So basically nanti dia akan keluar ni Z value, nanti dia akan keluar F value kat sini. Ni terbalik kan, kita dalam pandai betul kan. So akan ada F value tau. F value dekat sini, nanti dia akan dapatkan idea benda ni significant or not significant. So ada dah P value dekat sini. This is how we find out our P value manually. But now tak perlu nak buat benda tu semua sebab korang masuk je data, dia terus kirakan P value dia berapa. So dalam formulation, dalam calculation, kita akan dapat P value yang macam ni. dapat F value. Daripada F value ni dia punya algorithm dia untuk dapatkan P value. Okay. So dulu even masa saya master pun saya kena calculate sendiri pakai formula untuk ANOVA to get the F value, and then from F value we need to convert it to the P value. But now don't waste your time, masuk je database SS akan kirakan. That is how you got your F value and P value. Okay, faham?
Faham doktor, faham. Terima kasih doktor.
Ni macam admath lah. Kalau buat admath dulu kan, dapat, lepas tu tak convert ke P value. Saya master, saya buat sampai F value tapi terlupa nak convert ke P value, so kurang lah markah. Dapatlah markah jalan kerja je. Tapi kalau tak ada lah, tak perlu nak buat lah. Just faham lah konsep behind. Alright, so how to report? Again, you need to determine the magnitude, the direction and significant value, and then explain a bit on the post hoc. For ANOVA lah, kalau t-test tak payah explain pasal post hoc, dia tak ada post hoc. Okay, clear? Any question?
Doktor.
Tak ada yeah.
Doktor, for the Levin test yang nak tengok homogeneity tu, t-test pun kena buat kan? Semua test kena test.
Yes. T-test pun ada the assumption pun kena equal variance assume. So ada comparison between group. Dia sebenarnya ada panjang lebar explanation pasal Lebanese test ni, tapi I need to know and I don't think you want to know. But just faham kalau Lebanese test, ingat ni soalan yang selalu orang confuse. Lebanese test for homogeneity, kita tak nak dia significant, kita tak nak dia less than 0.05, kita nak dia more than 0.05. Tapi kalau t-test, ANOVA, kita nak lah dia 0.05. I mean kalau you guys get the concept, anything that is less than 0.05, maknanya dia tu significant, ada significant difference. Anything more than 0.05 maknanya tak ada significant difference. So dalam Lebanese test kita nak homogeneity kan, kita nak dia homogeneous. Kalau nak homogeneous dia tak boleh heterogeneous, so tak boleh ada difference. So kena more than 0.05. Okay, faham?
Faham doktor, thank you.
Doktor.
Okay, so sebenarnya
Doktor nak tanya yang tadi report we have three things right, magnitude, direction and significance value kan?
Yes.
For the P value, is it refer to the significant value?
Yes, significant value tu is the P value lah, tapi jangan cerita P value Bomperoni ni, cerita pasal P value ANOVA ni tadi. Yang Bomperoni ni nak tengok difference between group je. Yang ni yang main ni kena tahu.
Okay doktor.
Sebab yang ni ada explanation dia kat bawah dia. Okay. Alright, so senang kan ANOVA, tak susah. Lagi senang daripada, lebih kurang lah senang je test dengan ANOVA. It's not that difficult. You need to understand few things and then you will grab the concept. Okay. So in summary, okay, we use one-way ANOVA to compare multiple means because we have more than 2 groups. Okay. So number 2, between group variance reflects differences in the way the groups were treated. So maknanya nak cakap contohnya macam between single, married and also widowed. So kalau between group kita ada difference between the single, married and widowed tu sendirilah. So dia punya grouping, the difference between group. Okay. Kalau namanya group variance reflect individual differences. Maknanya even though dia single, tapi dalam yang single tu sendiri ada difference between each other. Okay. So that within group variance yang kita tak nak ada heterogeneous. Within group variance ni kita nak biarlah sama. So kalau kita sebenarnya nak compare between single dengan married dengan widowed kan, tapi within the single group tu tak naklah ada berbeza-beza sebab kita dah groupkan dia sekali. Kalau kita dah groupkan sekali dia ada berbeza, then tak ada purpose lah kita groupkan dia sekali. Faham tak kenapa kita kena buat Lebanese test tu? You understand the logic tak?
Yes.
Nah, contohnya kita dah kategorikan. Okey, lelaki dan perempuan. Okay. Sebab kita rasa perempuan ni dia punya BMI lagi rendah, lelaki BMI lagi tinggi. Tetapi bila di dalam perempuan tu sendiri, dia punya BMI tu berbeza-beza, kan? Macam mana kita nak sandarkan kita punya study tu kepada gender? Sebab gender tu sama, dia tak ada homogeneity within the assigned group. Sebab tu lah kalau ANOVA ke test, kita kena make sure within the assigned group sendiri ada homogeneity, because we want to use that homogeneity to compare between each other. Yang like yang mungkin dia punya distribution tu sendiri. Okay. So sebab tu lah test ke ANOVA ke, kita kena make sure yang dia tak ada variance difference between the group. Within tu memang benda kita nak lah. Alright. So kalau null hypothesis, no different mean, alternative hypothesis, different means. Kalau no different, maksudnya basically no statistical significant lah. Okay, more than 0.05. Kalau ada difference, maknanya less than 0.05. Okay. Faham tak? Okay. So ada apa-apa soalan berkaitan dengan ANOVA? Clear? Tahu tak kenapa kita buat semua benda tu? Basically you guys need to know the assumption why we want to conduct ANOVA lah, macam back to our learning objective. When to use, what to use and how to use lah. Tapi how to use tu senang je. When to use and what to use is more important lah. And then the assumption and how to write a report. Other than that, I think at the level, tapi it's a good introduction lah and some exposure lah to statistical test. Okay, clear? Any more question? Berapa dah? 12.20. Tak ada dah Okay, that's all. Ada question? Alright. Okay, tapi soalan ada lah daripada ni ANOVA ni untuk pro. So baca-baca sikit. Okay. Alright, thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.
Thank you so much, Doctor.